TD Podcast. We are your hosts, Tony and Dak. And in today's episode, we are giving you a bonus episode for the week because it's a big day. It's a big week in the NFL world. The trade deadline today, officially. Tomorrow is when this will be posted. But we're giving you our thoughts on everything today. So for those of you that don't know, for those of you that live under a rock, the trade deadline was today, Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And there were a couple of big trades, a couple of small trades, and we're going to go through the ones that we thought were the most noteworthy and how big of a difference they make in the NFL world and the landscape of the playoffs and team contention. So our first and 10 to kick off our video is okay. You're gonna have to because you're bad.
Seven trades.
You don't speak
today.
English when you type your notes, so you're gonna have to kick this off.
Yeah, seven trades happened today, and I believe that is the most of all time, maybe. If most trades happening on deadline day, in NFL history. I know 6 tied it since I think it was 1992. I think. The most trades happening on trade deadline day, I think.
I can't find it fast enough, so I don't really care that much.
And did your team make any moves?
Yeah, we traded Jakobi Meyers. For those of you that are new here, I'm a Raiders fan, and regardless of my little hat here, my little dinosaur, it's usually a Raider. Yeah, your team because it's a retirement home and a hospital. We traded Jakobi Meyers. I'm happy about, not because I didn't like Jakobi, but because he didn't have a place on the team necessarily, at least not for the future. For those of you that don't watch or haven't watched as much NFL football, you don't really have to be recently to know that the Raiders aren't good at football at the moment. But Jakobi Meyers should be on a more win-now team. He's a solid player, and I think getting a 4th and a 6th for him this year is a pretty darn good deal. Especially for who would most likely be a number 2 receiver on most teams. I am very happy with what they got for him, and I'm happy he gets to go to a team that's more likely to make the playoffs, and I wish him nothing but the best because he was a true professional. Unlike somebody we traded for a couple of years ago and froze his feet off because he didn't want to play for us. So it's Antonio
Brown, guys.
Yeah.
The 49ers, as most of you know, I'm a 49ers fan. I believe they just made one move, and that was bringing in Keon White, who the Niners sent a 6th-round pick to New England for, and then a few days later you lose your 1st-round pick and Michael Williams to an ACL tear. So again, just the defensive line just keeps getting weaker and weaker and thinner and thinner and thinner. And, hey, the Niners might go get Trey Hendrickson. And no.
Yep.
They might trade Jawan Jennings. And no. It's probably one of the less movement Niners at the deadline that I've seen in a while. I thought they'd cook up something like they cooked up the Christian McCaffrey deal a few years ago. And there was nothing that the Niners could really do because I don't think they have any resources left because they're all injured.
Yeah. Which I'm really upset about the Michael Williams injury because I have an autographed card for him. So I was really hoping he was going to have a big game, big day, big year, big career. A little side note. We've been recording these episodes so long that I ran out of coffee. This usually lasts me the entire recording session. So y'all, I really hope
coffee today.
I really hope y'all enjoy these episodes. Well, it's just this one cup. I'm able to pace myself. But man,
he's not pacing. He's drinking it all.
It's gone. It's gone today. It's my trademark is a cup of coffee while we're recording, and man, it's already gone. Luckily, this is the last episode of the day. Not that I'm excited we were done recording, but because it's been a long day. So now, our top 3 trades, grades, and whys. Our first trade to dive into. Dak, I'll let you jump into all this mumbo jumbo. Because again,
Sauce Gardner is an Indianapolis Colt. He's now teammates with wide receiver 1 from the Cincinnati days when they got absolutely blown out in the college football playoff, Alec Pierce. The Colts sent Adonai Mitchell a first round in this year's draft and a first round in next year's draft for Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner signed a 4-year, $120 million deal in the offseason as an extension. That's a whole lot of money on the Colts book. I believe that is $30 million a year for a corner that I think is a little grabby and handsy and only has like 200 tackles in his career. Maybe, I think that's what I read. He only has 3 total interceptions in his career. I know the ball doesn't get thrown to his side much. Yeah, 201 tackles. I know the ball doesn't get thrown to his way very much. He had 20 pass deflections in his rookie year, and he's not gotten close to that number. He had 11 his sophomore season, and then he had 9 pass deflections, and then 6. He's got 6 this year. I don't necessarily know if I like the deal. If I'm being honest, I think you gave up a lot in the future. I really do. 2 firsts is crazy, and then Adonai Mitchell, who I think was a project, but I think the fan base was just wanting him out, and I think his confidence was just gone, and I think he wanted out as well. So something to throw in there. But I don't necessarily know if the defense really needed it. I know that earlier on in the year they had was it Byron? Not Byron Jones.
Xavier Howard.
Old Xavier Howard. Beginning of the year, and he struggled. Kenny
retired.
Moore is a lockdown corner. Travarius Ward is a lockdown corner. So, and Cam Bynum is in that. Jalen Jones is there. You have Nick Cross is in there. I mean, the secondary and the team was looking pretty decent as it is. I don't necessarily know if you needed to give up that much just to put your defense in a similar situation than it already was. That being said, I think Sauce Gardner is a good defensive back in terms of locking people down. But I just think it was too much. I'm going to give this a B-.
Yeah, so any of you that have been watching this podcast for any amount of time knows that I'm more of a defensive guy. I love the defense. But here's my problem with this trade, right? Like you already mentioned, 2 first-round picks is a lot. And you also mentioned that he doesn't really get tackles. What's important on defense?
Not just that, but if you look at this Colts team, I think they're missing a pass rusher. They're missing a true pass rusher. And you got to think, there were true pass rushers out there.
Jalen Phillips went for a 3rd-round pick.
And you just gave up 2 firsts. With that first, possibly could have gotten you Trey Hendrickson. One of those firsts.
Yeah. That's a lot for Trey, but
I don't know if I like the deal. And you're taking on $30 million a year. I mean, I know you have a lot of cap room. Whew. It's a lot.
Yeah. So what I'm about to say is not to say that I am an NFL athlete, nor is it to say that I would ever be able to lace Sauce Gardner's boots or shoes or cleats or whatever the heck you want to call them. But what I am going to tell you is he stands at 6'3", 190 pounds. I'm going to tell you right now, me, who does not work out, stands for 10 hours a day, and sits in a chair most of the other time, is 6'2", 186 pounds. He has 4 pounds on me in an inch.
Can you run as fast as him?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You need to be bigger. You need
Not tackling well.
If you're gonna be wanting to tackle, if you're gonna want to be in the Colts,
he relies on himself for that.
Now here's my thing. He might be more. It's not might more. Might be. Hold on. He's more of a Deion Sanders kind of guy. I'm not a big Deion Sanders kind of guy. I'm a Charles Woodson. I'm a Brian Dawkins kind of guy. Now, all that being said, he's lucky that the Colts have those players around him. Cam Bynum, not afraid to hit. Jalen Jones, not afraid to hit. And
Nick Cross is definitely not afraid to hit.
Nick Cross, not afraid to hit. And the people over the middle, not afraid to make a tackle, right? So maybe that's what they were thinking. Maybe that's their mindset, right? The other part of it is, for those of you that have watched this podcast any length of time.
He's going to be on the team for 4 years.
I'm not a Daniel Jones kind of guy. You know where you get your franchise quarterbacks in the future? The first round. If Daniel
Didn't
Jones
work out. Didn't work
doesn't
out. We
pan
already
out,
tried that.
man, it's going to be rough because you guys are out a first round pick for the next 2 years. So unless you guys are going to find somebody in the off season,
Didn't try that.
it's going to be rough. And I hope the best for the Colts. And I mean, it doesn't really matter what I'm going to say. The Colts fans that watch this are going to be like, you just hate the Colts. I don't just hate the Colts. I just look at the NFL as a whole. I look at the Colts as a whole. I even diss on my own team. So you can't even just say I'm a Colts hater.
He's also a Raiders hater.
I shoot it straight. I shoot it straight as well, as straight as I can. I have some favoritism, but my favorite player has retired, and you're not going to get to see that here anymore. So I guess my biggest thing is I worry that Sauce Gardner is going to be the handsy guy and cause more penalties than good. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that the Colts got the guy that they need because I would much rather see them win a Super Bowl than the Chiefs. But man, I know for a fact if the Colts win the Super Bowl, every Colts fan in my life is going to be like, you said Daniel Jones sucks. And guess what? They won the Super Bowl. Well, guess what, dude?
Jimmy Garoppolo almost won a Super Bowl.
Record is not
starter.
a QB stat. There are bad quarterbacks that win all the time. Brock Purdy almost won the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts, a fringe top 10 quarterback, depending on who you talk to, won the Super Bowl last year. Matt Stafford, who was old, is old. Hold on. Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement. Matthew Stafford, who looked like he could be at the end of his career, won a Super Bowl and is now looking a little washed, but still there. It doesn't take some crazy thing for a decent quarterback to get you there and then win, right?
Nick Foles.
Nick
That's
Foles.
where you're missing right there. There you go.
Exactly. So, especially with the defense and the running game that they have, that's all I'm saying here. I'm not hating on the Colts. I'm not hating on the trade. I give the trade a B+. A B. Man, I'm going down, aren't I? I'm going down, aren't I?
I went B-.
Man, if I go any lower than B-, I'm gonna have people after me, or we're just gonna not have any viewers. Because all the people that I know that watch this are Colts fans, and they're just gonna be like, "You just hate us," and I'm not gonna watch your videos. Man, give it a B. Give it a B. Because it might put you over the edge, and if you win a Super Bowl, it was worth it.
Yeah, but I'm giving the Jets.
Oh, A+. A+.
You just got Adonai Mitchell, who wants a career resurgence after one play. One play, and he's wanting a career resurgence.
Yeah, and they needed a number 2.
He made it a spectacular catch when the play that he messed up with, and has been eating up all off season. So just a confidence thing. Will he find it with the Jets? Probably not. But speaking of the Jets and Gangrene Nation, they also
That's
let
such a
Quentin
terrible
Williams
nickname.
go.
Terrible nickname, by the way. I hate
Gangrene Nation.
it. Yeah, isn't that a disease? That's a disease.
Yeah.
Terrible
Gangrene.
nickname.
They're literally a disease. The Jets are a disease.
It's a
That's
terrible,
what I'm saying this
it's
for.
A terrible nickname. But
Gangrene Nation. Quentin Williams, the Cowboys. The Cowboys sent a second-round pick in this year's draft and a first in next year's draft, and a defensive tackle, Mozzie Smith.
Yeah, I like this trade a lot more for the Cowboys. I would give this one an A-.
It's been a lot less.
They sure did. I give this one an A-. The Cowboys defense needed help.
And they saved their first-round picks for in next year's draft.
Yeah.
They just got a lot of first-round picks for Micah, and they're saving it.
Yeah. I think Quentin Williams is going to definitely help their interior defensive line, and that's where they needed the most help. Because interior pressure helps the outside, same as outside pressure helps the DBs. It's all synchronous. Going back to that first trade, though, there's also other players that were available for much cheaper. So that's another reason why I give it a B. B-. I give up B-. This one gets an A- because I think both sides won. I think this is a good trade for both. The Jets obviously aren't going to win this year. Getting a second is awesome, especially for a team that is as bad as they are right now, record wise, and for a team that seems to underachieve pretty normally. So that first round pick could be pretty good next year too. So I like both sides of this. They both get A's for me.
I'm more sitting on the. I think it's a. I'm gonna give it a B plus for the Cowboys, just because I think they just need more than this. Granted, we'll talk about something later. I don't necessarily give it an A because I don't necessarily know how much Quinnen Williams does. You got to remember, Kenny Clark is also on this defense for the Cowboys, and they're not been a very good rushing defense. Rush defense. Let me rephrase that. But can Quinnen Williams do anything else that Kenny Clark is not doing? I don't necessarily know. But they have two very good D tackles right there. But can the secondary get it figured out? Because they made a trade for a D lineman and a linebacker that I'm getting ready to talk about later. But the secondary is just, I know they're banged up, but Deron Bland looked like crap last night.
He got shredded.
Absolutely. Marvin Harrison hit him with the cha-cha slide, and he fell over. Like, come on. what are we doing?
Had him running in place.
So, I don't necessarily know. I like the move, but I don't necessarily know what it does, what it benefits here.
Mm-hmm.
A second round, good. What can we do with it? I think the second and third rounds are a little bit more important than the first rounds because I think you can find first round talent in the second and third rounds. It's proven every single year.
It's really about
the first round is and I think the first round is just a glorified entertainment, essentially. Because I think there's first round talent and second round every single year.
I
mean, DK Metcalf slid all the way to the second round.
I think first round is supposed to be scheme-proof players, especially the top of it. Second and third are players where you can find that fit your scheme and excel.
I don't necessarily know what the Jets scheme is because they change coaches every other year.
Yeah, which is a problem.
Because their owner is not good. But a first round next year and Mozzie Smith. Don't really know much about him.
Pretty sure he's a young
but no,
defensive tackle.
You're on the up and coming for the Jets, and I think they got a lot of pieces and they're going to grow. And again, I said it. Kyler Murray will be on the Jets next season, and they will be building a team around Kyler Murray, and they will be taking steps into the Arizona Cardinals. So, next trade though. Dolphins trade Jalen Phillips for a third-round pick to the Eagles, and the rich continue to get richer.
Mm-hmm. They sure do.
It just seems like the Eagles always get good players like this for cheap every year.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be one of those things where it's like, wow, we forgot how good Jalen Phillips is. And for some reason, he's just going to be healthy now that he's on the Eagles. I feel like they're going to be able to do a better job of rotating him in and out, keeping him healthier, keeping him more fresh, not putting so much strain on him. I'd imagine because if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles do a lot of rotation on their defensive line outside of Jalen Carter.
They're deep. Their defense is just deep.
And he's probably going to play a similar role as to what Hassan Reddick did with the speed rushing situation.
Did Hassan Reddick unretire too and coming back?
No, that was Brandon Graham.
There's Brandon Graham. Yeah.
So that's also probably to help Brandon Graham from having to bust his tail at however old he is. So, yeah, but I could see him doing something similar to what Hassan Reddick did. Obviously not to that degree because he's not going to play as much as Hassan Reddick. But
the thing that points out to me though for the Eagles, and I think they got him at a cheap price. But can Jalen Phillips stay healthy?
Yeah.
I mean, he's played He played 4 games last year, played 8 games the year before that, and then went 17-17 the his first 2 seasons. He's played all 9 this year.
Yeah.
But can he stay healthy? And if he can, I think that's a big, big, big improvement there for the Eagles.
Yeah. One of my big notes from this trade is in 2023 he was on pace to have his best career season when Vic Fangio was the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins. That's who the defensive coordinator is for the Eagles. In those 6 games that Jalen Phillips started, he had 6.5 sacks. So that's on track for 17 sacks if he was able to retain that. And right now he's sitting at 3 sacks. So we'll revisit this later in the season if he pops off or if he gets himself hurt again. But I'm hoping...
Popping like an Achilles. Isn't that what his injury was last year?
You're fired. I give this trade a... what do I give it? An A for the Eagles. I don't think they need much draft capital at this point in time. And I give this a C+ for the Dolphins because they wasted a young talent and they get a 3rd-round pick in return for it. And I think they should have and could have done better by him and by the organization as a whole. And that just shows that they're kind of giving up without fully giving up. Because Jalen Phillips is the only guy they traded. If they were going to trade him, they should have traded more pieces. They should have just went full send rebuild. So
the Broncos were very, very, very interested in Jalen Waddle. That was an interesting name to watch in the deadline. Jalen Waddle was almost dealt.
He should have been dealt. Everybody should have been dealt. Except for Tua. He better go down with the ship. So
he is the ship.
He's Captain Jack. So now we get to our questionable trades. Dak, we'll let you kick us off here. It's just basically a rehash. We talked about it a lot at the beginning of this.
Yeah, it was just the Sauce trade was just very... Need it? Yes. Do you need it? No. Like, I don't necessarily know, but the real question again is why wasn't Breece Hall dealt? Why? Like, that is the biggest question mark that I have there is
you
a guy that does not
thunder.
want to be there. A guy that does not want to be there.
Yeah.
You don't trade him. The Chiefs tried to offer a 4th round and the Jets wanted a 3rd. But get what you can out of him because you're probably going to end up releasing him at the end of the year.
I also don't understand it. I'm kind of glad because I have him in fantasy football, but I'm also kind of not glad because I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know if he's just going to be
Dalvin Cook situation,
angry all the time, or how it's going to go. But man, I think the Jets fumbled here. I think they should have got what they could and let him go. Let him out of his cage and let the birdie fly. I understand not wanting the Chiefs to be better, but trade him to somebody else. I mean, odds are he's not going to be as used, and especially on the Chiefs. Anyways, they don't really do that whole workhorse situation. Maybe it's because their running backs haven't won worth a slice of bread, but I don't know. Now, to our best trade, I said it was Jalen Phillips to the Eagles. They needed better pass rush so bad that Brandon Graham came out of retirement. And Jalen Phillips has that upside and has that potential to be their number 1 pass rusher outside of Jalen Carter, unless I'm forgetting a name, but I don't think I am. So I think having that upside and, again, what I mentioned before, just the plus side that he had when he was under Vic Fangio in 2023, I think that could be a nice little change of pace for them, especially when their defensive line has been a little wishy-washy, especially when Jalen Carter has not been on the field.
Yeah, the best trade I think to me is hands down it's got to be the Logan Wilson trade. The Cowboys got an absolute baller, a guy that has been a tackle machine for the Bengals. Over the years, he's led the Bengals in tackles, I believe, the past 3 years. From 2022 through 2024, and he's a signal caller. He's a guy that's got the green dot on the helmet. He's going to take control over that defense, and he's going to be the voice, again, to a defense that has struggled. I was listening to Manti Te'o this morning, and he goes, "If we're all wrong, we're all right. If we all do the wrong thing, and we do it, we're all right because the play could probably work. But if some of us are right and some of us are wrong, we're gonna look like crap." And that's what the Cowboys defense has been all year. One doing something, this guy's doing something else, and it's just been really, really bad. And I think Kenneth Murray is terrible at football right now. Not saying he's a terrible football player, but he's terrible at football right now. What Rico Dowdle did to Kenneth Murray the whole game against the Carolina Panthers was just horrible. And
I'm glad he did.
I'm told that Kenneth Murray did not play last night. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'll tell you in a
but
second.
Logan Wilson brings something to this second level of the defense, can bring some stability there. And if the secondary can get healthy, the Cowboys might be able to do something. But I just don't know with the question marks with the defense itself and the defensive coordinator. But I think the Logan Wilson trade was definitely a move in the right direction. And I don't know what the Bengals are doing in their defense because clearly Jamar Chase and Chase Brown hate their own defense.
Yeah, you should never talk to whoever told you that he didn't play ever again because he played 100% of the defensive snaps.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was thinking he did, but someone said he didn't play last night. He didn't. I think he's their signal caller.
Deron Bland had 14 tackles. He also had a pair of broken ankles. So,
you got to pick him up a few times.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be the wrap up for our trade deadline episode, our bonus episode for the week. We'll see if we can't sprinkle in some more of these over the season. But again, we are busy people, and we do our best to get you guys content. And this is our bonus episode of trying to get you guys some more content. So don't say we didn't do you something.
We're not getting you money, so hopefully this week
we can't win you money for bets, but we can give you more content that hopefully you appreciate and enjoy. With all that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and let us know what trades you wish you saw. There's plenty of trades I wish I saw, I'll tell you that much. And trades that you appreciated that they weren't done. Like players that you thought, oh crap, this guy's going to get traded, and then he didn't. Who were they?
She should heed, baby. Reminds me of MVS of last year when MVS got traded from the Saints to Seattle and did nothing.
MVS doesn't have the hands that Shaheed does, but all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. We know ball, you know ball. You're welcome. That was not how I wanted to end it, but it's how we're going to end it. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of this week, and watch the rest of the episodes we have coming the rest of the week. See you guys in the next one. Peace.